Alrighty everyone, welcome back. As we get closer to the end of July of 2023, we're also inching closer to the release date of the Ahsoka Tano series. A lot of fans have mixed reactions on the show, by the way, by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, after witnessing the final trailer that debuted not so long ago. There's a lot of mixed reactions based on the fact also because of how there's lower numbers than usual on a Star Wars trailer, especially when you're going by standards of a Disney Plus Star Wars show. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into exactly what's going on with Jon Favreau, Lucasfilm, and of course the Disney higher-ups. Now, as you all are very well aware, Mando Season 3 was a big drop-off for the Mandalorian series in itself. A lot of it had to do with Kathleen Kennedy, some of which, of course, had to do with Jon and Dave's efforts on the script, but let's face it, we know that a lot of it had to do with Kennedy, as Favreau did unveil that it was all Kennedy's idea to focus on Bo-Katan more so, instead of Din Djarin, and how basically she was the one who called the shots to exclude Boba Fett from the finale. So there was a lot of things that were done by Kennedy that she was orchestrating that really brought, I believe, Mando Season 3 down to Last Jedi levels of disappointment. Now, looking, of course, to the next big development here surrounding Jon Favreau and what he recently did with a specific Lucasfilm team/crew has a lot to do with a specific project. Let's get into this. Now, on top of this, with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni aiming to reset the Mandalorian series with Season 4, a significant development surrounding this has much to do with Favreau initiating a big plan for the 4th season, where he recently finalized the plan to firing an entire Lucasfilm crew and team that have now been finally laid off from the 4th season of The Mandalorian. Given that Kathleen Kennedy has no creative input into Season 4, Favreau does have authority over who will be handling the upcoming season. Now, Favreau did decide to fire this team and crew that consisted of artists, directors, as well as co-writers aimed to take part in multiple episodes, as well as, of course, for that series to help aim and help him with the script of Season 4. They were essentially Kathleen Kennedy loyalists that were not in agreement with his vision to follow George Lucas's philosophy of Star Wars, and didn't want to see a return of Luke Skywalker in Mando Season 4, which is something that Favreau is completely focused on to do, along with the return of Anakin Skywalker in flashbacks. Now, the focus, of course, on to do, of course, along with everything related to Anakin Skywalker in flashbacks, is a major part of Jon Favreau's plan. The Kathleen Kennedy loyalists attempted to sabotage these plans, and so Favreau spoke up with these difficulties with the Disney higher-ups last month and got approval just recently to fire the entire team of Mando Season 4, where a new team is now up for hire for, of course, themselves to take part in all of this. Now, guys, let me stop right here for a second. Now, this has been an ongoing development for the past 2 months. We've been talking about this on and off. It has now been finalized that this Lucasfilm team/crew has been laid off and fired by Favreau himself, given that he is reportedly now the official producer of the show and not Kathleen Kennedy. We talked about how she has been removed/fired from the role of a producer for multiple Star Wars projects as a result of her failure with Indy 5, The Dial of Destiny. And are we even surprised that this is the kind of treatment that she's getting? Because she deserves this. After what she did with The Dial of Destiny, she absolutely 100% deserves this at the very minimum. I mean, she's lucky to get this. She should really be fired from Lucasfilm entirely, and it's all to blame on the Disney board, by the way, guys. There's a lot of those on the board that are fighting for Kathleen Kennedy to stay at Lucasfilm, while others are heavily trying to get her out of Lucasfilm. It's an ongoing division over at Disney, and it's very ugly for themselves. It's not looking good. Now, the thing about Jon Favreau, look, say what you will about Favreau, there's a lot of people that support him, a lot of people that don't really believe in his takes on Star Wars, but he's a world builder at the very minimum. And at the end of the day, We know that he's got that passion. We know that he supports George Lucas, and I think that's just enough to perhaps maybe even kind of boost up momentum again for Star Wars if he's able to do what he wants to do. Because let's face it, Season 2 of Mando, I believe, and this is my opinion, was the pinnacle, or the peak, I should say, of Star Wars, at least on the Disney Plus platform. Everything after that kind of really fell flat. You know, Kenobi was boring. It really did not deliver. Boba Fett had a couple of good scenes here and there, but in the grand scheme of things, it just wasn't a good show. And especially at Mando Season 3, that also was a complete fail. If Ahsoka fails, let me tell you, I mean, that's it. It's game over. That's where Disney is going to find themselves in an even bigger hole that's going to make it pretty much impossible for Jon and Dave to dig themselves out of. So moving onwards here, alright? With the strikes ongoing, this gives Favreau a lot of time to pick and choose who will be on his team. Timothy Zahn is already chosen to be a major advisor for Mando 4, and that Favreau is already attempting to make this one better than Season 2, since he is aware about the backlash over Season 3, and how Kennedy played a large role in all of that. The Lucasfilm team that was laid off have now either been moved over to the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew teams, or have been fired entirely from Lucasfilm after Favreau's decision and how he decided to move on from those not in agreement with him, and those also that had issues with plans to bring George Lucas on the set to stay on set and to play a large role in the story-making decision process during and after writing and filming. So here's the other problem, is that these Kathleen Kennedy loyalists that were a part of the Mando 4 team did not want George Lucas on set either. Similar to how George was banished from the set of Season 3, that was a call by Kathleen Kennedy, they wanted to do this with Season 4. I don't know about you guys, but what in the world is wrong with Lucasfilm and their employees? There's a lot of those out there that just despise George Lucas and everything that he did with the prequels and his overall view and philosophy of what Star Wars truly stands for, to the point that they don't want him on set. Very similar to Leslie Headland. She says if you're looking forward to Lucasfilm, you know, having George Lucas the only person in the room or to look forward to as the key to Star Wars, then you're a misogynist. She said that in a podcast back in 2019. And that goes to show you the type of people that Disney hires. And she, by the way, is handling the Acolyte show for 2024. I believe it's going to be a disaster, and it's the main reason why I really have no excitement at all for that show. And look, there's still a possibility that maybe it could turn around, but that is 0 to a slim chance at this point. I don't really see that happening. Because it's all agenda-driven garbage, let's face it, it's true. There's going to be no character development, no driven story or plot. It's all about her agendas being thrown into the Acolyte. But anyway, I'm glad that Favreau at least did this, and it shows that there is a chance for Mando Season 4. Anyway, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.